So this story today is about a girl named Emily Carpenter, and she decided that finally she should get going with Twitter. She heard about her friends doing it and decided I should give it a try too. So the first thing she did was went to twitter.com and she joined Twitter. Then she chose a username. It seemed pretty obvious that she would choose her own name, Emily Carpenter. So she chose her name. As you can see, there are no spaces, Emily Carpenter, as a username. And then she went into settings and she put her own name in there, Emily Carpenter, so people could find her when they do a search. Without that, nobody can find you. Unless if your username is something other than your own name, especially, and you don't have your real name in the name, no one will ever find you on Twitter. And the whole point of being on Twitter is to be found. So next she created a biography for herself. Normally in Twitter you have 140 characters to say what you're doing, but for your bio you have 160 characters. So she put it all out there. Web whiz, avid networker, blogger, speaker, and social media evangelist. Next, Emily put up a picture of herself, which she had professionally done. Instead of taking one with her camera and holding it out like this and trying to take it up herself, she went to a professional photographer and had a picture taken. On Twitter, you have one shot to put your URL up there. You get one URL that you can add. So Emily chose her main company, Whizbang Web Solutions, www.whizbangweb.com. And then she began to tweet. Because what is Twitter if it doesn't have tweets? After she put up a couple of tweets to get a flavor of who she was and the things she was interested in, so people could see who she was and get an idea, she began to follow people. So she went to other people's profiles that had similar interests to her or something that she wanted to learn more about, and she decided to follow them. Some of them followed her back and they became her followers. So Emily started tweeting and she found some tweets that she liked, and she found one in particular she really liked, so she made it her favorite. And she did this by hovering over the tweet itself, and a little star pops up, or a trash can, so if she wanted to delete it, she could, actually not a trash can, reply, a little arrow, so she could either reply back to that person, or she could star it and make it a favorite. So she decided to make this tweet a favorite. Now, if she really liked the tweet, other than favoriting it, she could retweet it to tell other people that she liked this tweet. With the favorites, people could go to her profile and find what she favorited, or they could go, or they could see a retweet, and everyone that gets her tweets that are following her can see what the person wrote. So in this case, she would write RT @ Nick Francesco and give the retweet of what he had said. So it would say RT @Nick Francesco and then the repeat of the message. And if she really, really liked what Nick had to say, she would do a reply. And a reply, as we talked about before, is that little arrow that pops up when you hover over the tweet. And in this case, she writes the @ Nick Francesco, and then whatever note she wants to write to Nick. So she's replying to him in this way. So the @ Nick Francesco is a reply, so that now when Nick goes into his account, he'll see a listing of people that have mentioned him in a tweet, and he'll be able to respond back. Now, if she really liked the tweet, or maybe she didn't, she can send a direct message to Nick, and this is a private message that Nick would get. So she writes the letter D, and then a space, and then the username, and then a space, and then the note that she wants to write privately to Nick. Now, Nick may not be following Emily, in which case she couldn't send him a direct message. There has to be reciprocal follow and following, follow-follower relationship, or a direct message can't happen at all. If Emily really, really liked a lot of the things that Nick had to say, then on Fridays there's something called Follow Friday. This is one of those terms that, unless you've been on Twitter for a while, you might wonder what it is. So every Friday, when there's people that you like on Twitter, you can put out their usernames and ask people to follow them as well. So you put something about the person, here in this case, smart guy, Nick Francesco, and I use the @ symbol, you'll notice, so that this will show up, so Nick will also see that I wrote this. and Follow Friday with the hashtag in front of it. The hashtag is a way for people to search. So if someone put in hashtag Follow Friday in Twitter search engine, they would get back all the people that people had recommended to follow on Follow Friday. And that happens every single Friday. So, you may have learned your alphabet. And in your alphabet you learned that there are vowels. And they are A, E, I, O, and U, and sometimes Y. That's what we all learned. But I'm going to teach you a new alphabet today. The vowels are A, E, E, I, O, O, and never Y. And I'll tell you what all of those mean. So the A stands for ask. One thing you should be doing when you're tweeting on Twitter is asking questions. If there's something you want some help on, or a question that you need to have answered, ask a question. People will respond. Recently, I've asked questions about mind mapping. I'm looking at different mind mapping software, and I wanted to hear what people had to say. So I put a question out there, and I got lots of great replies back. Educate. If you know something about a topic, look for people that are asking the questions about the topic and answer them. You can educate people. If you have a specific skill in a certain area, give information about that to share on Twitter. Another E is entertain. Entertain your followers. Give them something funny, something witty. Entertain them. Could also be giving them some place to go. Give them a place that's happening, something that's happening locally in your town that's fun to do. Just entertain them. The last E is engage. And engage your followers by not just sitting back and listening all the time, but actually reply, have conversation, engage with the people that are on Twitter so that you get something back and you're also giving. I is for inspire. Everyone likes to be inspired, and some people, all that they do on Twitter is write inspirational messages. We had someone talk about that today. So inspiring people, giving something, it could be a quote from a famous person, it could be something you made up in your head that's inspiring to you, a bit of a poem that you've read. Inspire people with words. O is for offer. Offer something on Twitter. You can offer your time, offer your knowledge, offer, again, any of the things we talked about, entertainment, education, offer. Observe. It's important to observe on Twitter. So sometimes you may have nothing to say, but your observations are going to help you in your business or in your personal life. Observe things. You can do this by running a search on Twitter, by using the hashtags we talked about, or you can just simply look and see what the people are talking about and observe, and then when it's appropriate you can jump into the conversation. But a lot of times your time is just going to be observing. And last but not least, never, can you guess what the Y is? Never yell. Now, if you don't know this already, when you write in all caps in an email or in a letter to someone or in a tweet, in this case, it's yelling. Nobody likes to be yelled at, so don't yell at people. So never yell. So after Emily was on Twitter for a while, she got to really like it and start talking about it with other people, which is why I'm here today. That's the end.